What in the hell's going on with the graphics card market? This is insanity.
In this video, I'm going to argue that if you're looking at a bunch of different graphics cards and they've got the NVIDIA logo on them, and they've got a big 5 in the beginning, probably you should just ignore them. If you care about Physx, you should ignore them. If you care about your bank account, you should ignore them. If you're okay playing pretty much every game at 60 to 150 FPS, well, you should probably be looking at the 4 series or the AMD stuff. Let me show you something right here. This is the Microsoft Store. That's the retail price. And now let's head over to whokeys.com. You can get Windows 11 Pro, but we have a little bit of a deal right here. See, there's like a 20% off. No. Let's not do that. Let's get 25% off Windows 11 Pro. Once you get over here, we got a coupon code down here. Just type in TS25. Take a look at the price. $30.96. Let's hit apply. And now $23.22. That's the price I want to pay. You can also get the same deal on Windows 10 Pro. And at the time of making this video, Windows 10 Pro keys unlock Windows 11. Let's see what that comes down to. $17.61. You got Windows 10 Home, we got Windows 11 Home, and we also have a few different flavors of Office, like 2019 and 2016. If you're looking at like Office 365, it's one of those monthly never-ending things. $129 a year versus $99 a year. When you grab Office 2019 this way for only $53.56, it just activates and works, and there's no monthly fee. Let's go ahead and check out with our copy of Windows 11 Pro. Going to use TS25 here, and I'm going to submit my order. 269, there we go, sweet. Yeah, sure, we'll save that. So after you make your purchase, just go ahead and extract your key. Go ahead and click on View Keys and Codes for the new one. All right, here we just need to press Start and then type Activate. You'll see Activation Settings. Go ahead and click on that. And then right here it says Not Active. That's okay. Just click on Change Product Key. Paste in our product key, press Next, and then click on Activate. Hey, look at that. Active. Don't be messing around with those exorbitant retail keys. Grab an OEM key. Head over to whokeys.com. Thanks to them for sponsoring. And now on to our regularly scheduled program. You know, for the price you're paying for an RTX 5080, well, back in my day, you could get 2 graphics cards. This is a 9800 GX2. It's 2 GPUs duct taped together with a fan and radiator in the middle. It's all blurry, but this is my coaster right here. Yes, the beautiful 9800 GX2. This thing was probably cheaper than the RTX 5080. Now look at this. What is going on? Yeah, these are $1,000. Good luck getting one for $1,000. You know, NVIDIA put this program on their website. We know people are gouging prices, so come to our website, put in your email address, and if we think you qualify and you're going to buy one, we'll let you buy a RTX 5080. Not a 5070, not a 5070 Ti or whatever, just a 5080, which is $1,000. So people are going to buy it there, and then they're probably going to scalp it because everything's in such limited supply. I wonder if they do this on purpose. Do they make them limited supply on purpose so that they can justify this creep of price that we've had over the years? It just keeps creeping up and creeping up. The most you used to have to pay for one of these cards was like $500 or $599 for like the top of the line, like the best card. And then if you wanted to get something stupid like this one that has 2 cards duct taped together, well, that's going to be like an extra $100 to $200. And it's weird because it's SLI on one card. So there was that kind of stuff back in the day, but this is just completely out of hand right now. Take a look at this. This is the GTX 680. This was $499. It was the big flagship card back in 2012, the early 2012. It came out on March 22nd. I'm just going to scroll down and show you the 1920 by 1200 performance of Metro 2033, and you can see it's 59. Now we take that down to 1080p, and this will probably be around 61, 62, somewhere in that range. Let's take a look at another game just for the fun of it. Crisis Warhead. Can it play Crisis? Well, let's take a look. 1920 by 1200, 48.9 FPS. So yeah, it's going to be probably around 50 something when we take into account 1080p. Now the cost of that graphics card today would be about $690. Let's take a look at the 4060 Ti over here. And it's floating around that same price right now with all this nonsense that's going on. Whenever you find one, look, $900? So yeah, this is ridiculous because this is like a mid-grade card. After you take into account inflation, it's going for around the same price as the big flagships. So that's what we're getting for this is 1080p high settings, playing your games on high. This one is going to be able to play 1080p medium at about the same, FPS. So for the rest of the video, what we're going to do is take this 4060 Ti and I'm going to play a couple games at 1440p and 1080p and just talk about how they look and everything and how they play. And we're going to start off with Avowed because that's new and it's an Unreal Engine 5 game. I'm going to play a couple Unreal Engine 5 games because that's like the engine that seems to be the most demanding, even though it wasn't supposed to be. It was supposed to be like this streamlined thing, but what do you know? People didn't optimize their games that well. So in Avowed, you can see that we're getting, in the mid 40s to 60s, depending on what's going on in the scene, without the DLS having to be turned on. And if you put it on 1440p, I feel like you almost need DLSS to be turned on. You can use the quality mode and it looks pretty good. The vegetation, they did a pretty good job in this without it being too blurry and too smudgy. But you do get some of the issues with DLSS here and there, but it's a pretty good implementation, and you do get a decent boost in FPS. And I feel like that's kind of important for a game like Avowed because the combat is fast and there's a lot of action. Even though there's stop whatever whenever you hit one, it like stops for a second. It feels a little weird, but. So yeah, while you're looking at this, I'm going to tell you about this game in case you're curious, because I've been playing it for a few days. I want to say thanks to the people over at, I think it was Xbox or whatever, that sent this over so I could check it out. But Avowed is interesting because it's in the same world as Pillars, and I didn't know that at first. I was just playing, and then I was like, who made this? Because I just got the key, and then I was like, oh, it's Obsidian. So yeah, it does feel a lot like an Obsidian game in a bunch of different ways, but it's first person. So, I mean, don't compare it to Skyrim or anything like that because it's not like a full-on like world that you can wander around in. It's got a really big map, but it's not an open world, as it were. And they've made a lot of interesting choices that make me feel like the game's a little bit on, it feels like a little bit like training wheels. I don't know if there's any other way to say it, but if you want to remove some of that feeling, you're going to have to go in and do like I did and turn off the HUD and turn off a whole bunch of things. Turn off the shimmer on the chest so it's not such an obvious thing. It just felt like the game was like pulling me towards the stuff they wanted me to see and just kind of hand holding me a bit too hard. So just turn off a lot of the stuff on the HUD, turn off the quest markers and everything, and all of a sudden it starts to feel a lot more interesting. And I turned off the reticle and everything. After that, the exploration is why I'm playing this game, which is quite a bit of fun, and it plays fine on this graphics card. As far as all the quests and the characters go, I can honestly take or leave most of it. It's like, it's cool, it's there. There's stuff going on. I'm not super far into it. I'm just like having too much fun exploring the world. Combat's, again, it's okay, but this game for me is all about the exploration and the design of the scenes. Just like the environment artist did an amazing job. So play the game just for that. Is it something I would purchase for full price? I don't know. I don't think so. I think I would probably wait for a sale, but that's just me. It is good. If you're really into exploration and you really like the way the game looks, then just, get it based on that. The combat is quite fun. So, yeah, it's got a few things going for it. The characters, dialogue, it's there, it's cool. All right, let's also take a look at Stalker. I've played that quite a bit lately, and I played it a lot on this machine with the 4060 Ti. It runs okay. There's some stuttering when you're getting into cities and stuff. There are a few patches over on the Nexus that will allow you to pretty much fix a lot of the problems with this game. And it's like, I feel like some of the people who are making these patches for the Unreal Engine 5 stuff, NVIDIA, just hire them because it will help a lot. But again, we're getting the same situation here with the 4060 Ti, like 40s to 60s, depending on where you are in the game and what you're doing. Turning DLSS on can help that a little bit, but I like to kind of judge games based on their just straight up rasterization performance. Yeah. And, you're not going to get tons of ray tracing or anything like that at, that price range, the 4060 Ti price range, but it does work. Microsoft Flight Simulator at 1080p can work, but it plays okay. Let's put it that way. It plays okay. And it looks amazing, and I think they've ironed out some of the kinks, but yeah, it's okay. Let's talk about something that'll play on every computer, including your computer probably. And that is Turbo Overkill. So if you haven't seen this and you like boomer shooters and you want something that just like all the ideas plus a few more, the movement feels a lot like Doom Eternal, where you got the double jump and you got the dash. So it's very, very similar to that. It almost feels lifted straight out of that and then thrown into this. But something about this feels maybe even more fluid, which is kind of insane to think about because Doom Eternal felt like murder gymnastics, and this feels very similar in that way. But you're half robot, half organic. And you have this really cool thing when you slide. Your leg comes up and out of your knee comes a chainsaw. So you have a knee chainsaw in this game and you can slide, and the faster you slide, the more damage your knee chainsaw will do to everybody. So that's a lot of fun. I also like the fact that there's tons of verticality. And, even though I've seen a lot of the stuff that's in this game, it comes together so well. Apogee, thank you so much for this game. It's awesome. I'm going to be playing that one more than pretty much anything else because it's the one game out of all these that I'm like, I want to get back to that one because it's just straight up fun. Now, a lot of the stuff in the game feels derivative. The way they put it together is somewhat special in my opinion, and it has a few immersive sim of, things going on here and there. I won't spoil anything with the deep plot, but it also has a couple things where I'm like, oh, I haven't seen that before. So it did surprise me in a few different areas. So really good job, Apogee, and it's awesome to see Apogee making games like this again, because it's exactly what I would expect from Apogee in 2025. So check that one out. That's my highest recommendation of the whole episode, even though it can probably play just fine on a GPU from 8 or 9 years ago. I don't know, maybe even more than that. All right, one last GPU, because we haven't talked about AMD, and I feel like, that's probably what we should be talking about. Okay, let's talk about another reason not to upgrade. Do you like playing old games that support Physx? Well, let's just take a look at this. This is a very nice discussion over here on PCMR, and I'll link this, but this person is arguing why we should, care about 32-bit Physx support. And it's interesting because NVIDIA, they didn't tell anybody that they were dropping support for 32-bit Physx, and there are a lot of old games from, the 2000 something to 2000 something that support that version. And, they use the CUDA cores and everything like that. AMD could have totally worked with all this stuff, but it's on, the closed API, which is CUDA, but an AMD graphics card in theory could do this stuff if it was open source. So maybe the 32-bit Physx, it's time to open source that NVIDIA and just let us all whatever. So you want to see all the games that are affected by this? Let's scroll down here. I'll just scroll down through this slowly. Unreal Tournament 3 is on the list. Tom Clancy games are on the list. Monster Madness. Dark Void, Metro 2033. Physx is not going to work on that. Mirror's Edge is a big deal. Borderlands 2, Rise of the Triad. That's the new 2016 version, not the old version. It would be weird if the old version had Physx. But yeah, these are the games. Arkham City, Physx no longer works. So if you want to play any of these games, or want maybe the ability to play them in the future on your hardware, and you want to buy like a fancy, RTX 5080, well, let me just show you something right here. This is a video that you can go watch on your own. This is what happens when you break the glass on an older one. But check this out. This is on a 5080. You start breaking glass and using Physx, it's going to start using CPU emulation, and your mileage is going to vary, but this person's getting 7 FPS. Before you start doing stuff, look, we're in the hundreds, to 213 FPS. But after they start, interacting with Physx or whatever, 12.7, it's ridiculous. So all that's gone. That's kind of a big deal to me, because I want to be able to play all those games, and Physx is really awesome. I feel like it's an underappreciated and underused thing. NVIDIA just kind of bought Aegea, took Physx, did a couple things with it, and then just maybe forgot about it. Havoc's nice as well these days, but whatever. Anyway, this graphics card right here is faster than the stuff I've been talking about, the 4060 Ti. Not 7600, the 6700 XT is faster. And, it's a generation or so old, so check that out. Especially with the new AMD stuff coming out, these are going to be in an even sweeter sweet spot. These are also really fast. I think it's about time we start looking at some AMD stuff. Yes, their software, FSR and stuff is not there. But honestly, I want to play my games with all the fake frame stuff and all the smudging technologies turned off. I don't want blurry, I've been drinking scotch gaming. I want crystal clear, sharp, no latency gaming. And so I'd rather play at a lower resolution and not turn that stuff on. Most of the games I play, I try to keep that off unless my system just cannot handle it, in which I have, in which case I kind of have to. It's like, if it's like I'm feeling the stutter in the game, I'd rather have a little bit of that DLSS motion blur, or even FSR, or whatever, XeSS. I'd rather have a little bit of that and a smoother experience. But for a lot of these games, if it's the choices like between 60 FPS without any sort of smudging technology, or 110 FPS with the smudging technology turned on, I'd rather have 60 clean, I'm going to call it, instead of 120 with DLSS. So yeah, and if you're looking at these, you're going to get just straight up more raster per dollar. Yes, wonderful rasterization. Anyway, I got to talk about some games that I got. Check that box. Got to talk about this new NVIDIA nonsense. Check that box. Got to make a few recommendations. Check that box. But a lot of this was just to get the conversation going and maybe tell you all to put on the brakes when it comes to buying this stuff. I don't understand why it all sells out so fast and why there's scalpers on eBay and everything. I don't understand why everyone needs this stuff as soon as it comes out, especially when it's barely better than the stuff from the last generation. And in my opinion, worse, because Physx, 32-bit CUDA stuff, that's a big deal to me. I like a lot of those games on that list. Mirror's Edge is like one of my favorite games. And, it's kind of awful to remove Physx. Physx was cool. It's maybe can I get an Aegea card? I'm gonna have to look that up. I wonder if an Aegea card will play Mirror's Edge. All right, so all you watch till the end. I'm gonna do something right here. All the mice right here, half price with the coupon code HAPPYMOUSE. So just head over to epicpants.com, grab yourself a mouse, maybe a keyboard as well. While you're there, get a mouse pad, but half price on these. Happy Mouse is the coupon code, and I have like 3 or 4 hoodies left. So get them while it's cold is what it says there. Yeah, I've only got a few left. As you can see, a large one of these, and what do we got here? Small and large, not many. All right, epicpants.com. I'll see you in the comments.